What's up, guys? For the umpteenth time, follow me on Facebook, MySpace, and Twitter. If you're watching this on YouTube, I will put the links below. And then if you're watching this on Facebook, MySpace, and Twitter, Facebook or MySpace, I will put the link to my YouTube account. So you can see my sports blog, which does include Central Washington coverage. So the Central Washington University's men's basketball team's run to the NCAA tournament is over and falls a little short. By 2 games, them losing in the semifinals games, and if you want to count the championship game. So Alaska Anchorage wins by a score of 93-81. Alaska Anchorage, who is the number 2 seed, will be in the championship game against the team who I think in my opinion, is the biggest story in this tournament, and that's MSU Billings, Montana State Billings. Montana State Billings beat Western Washington 82-78. Western Washington was the number 1 seed going into this tournament. And so, as I said before, MSU Billings is playing for their tournament lives at this point, and I don't think if they lose this, I think if they lose this game, they still are on the out looking in because they're not ranked right now in the West Region poll. But they've put together a nice playoff run and have had a really good season. They've improved tremendously ever since joining the GNAC a couple years ago. They've always been down in the lower third of the conference, and this year they've been able to kind of leapfrog a couple of teams and put together a good solid playoff run. So props to the Yellow Jackets. So the Yellow Jackets will play the Sea Wolves at 5:15 on Saturday, tomorrow in St. Martin's, and if you want to watch the game, it will be on Root Sports. Talking more about CWU, unfortunately, I did miss the game because I had to work, so here's a recap from a couple of box score stats. Alaska Anchorage led by a score of 41-31 at halftime, and one of the keys I said for Central, if they were going to win this game, would be to spread the ball around. Last 2 times these 2 teams have played, you had one guy go off, maybe another guy barely get over the double-digit mark in points, and then everybody else was shut down. So they definitely did spread the ball around a little bit more. As Kobe Jordan led the Wildcats with 15 points, and then Lacey Haddock, Jody Johnson, Toussaint Tyler had 12 points. Robbie Clyde had 11. Jody Johnson led the team with 7 rebounds. So the Wildcats spread the ball around. The problem is Alaska Anchorage did the same thing, and they scored more points. Travis Thompson scored 24 points to lead all scores. Taylor Rod, who has been a Wildcat killer this year, scored 19. Steve White had 17, and then Kyle Fossman and Lonnie Ridgway each had 12 to round out the top scores for the Seawolves. The stats of the game that jump out to me that I think were keys to the outcome of the game was the first one was Alaska Anchorage shot 50% beyond the 3-point line. So yeah, 50% 3-point shooting. That's pretty good. 8 for 16. So that was definitely shows that they can definitely pass the ball around and break down the defense. And when they get open shots, they take advantage of it. And then the other one was this is kind of weird, but I definitely think Alaska Anchorage shooting 65.22% field goal percentage compared to, and this was in the second half, they shot 65.22 field goal percentage compared to Central's 42.11 field goal percentage in the second half. Despite this, the Seawolves only outscored Central by 2 points. So that I thought was a little interesting. But so again, the final score is 93-81. Central ends the season with a 15-13 record. That includes the GNAC tournament games. And overall, it was nice to see the Wildcats win at least one game with the hard year that they've had. Again, they seem to compete. They could compete against the GNAC this year. Don't get me wrong, they could, but they couldn't get that extra stop or that shot to fall. And that was the difference in the SBU game that they had in the tournament this year, because they were able to get their stop not once, not twice. Regardless of what you think of the controversial call, they still stopped SBU twice with under 22.3 seconds to go. But next year's a toss-up. They're going to lose 5 seniors, so a lot of experienced players are going to leave. But this team is still relatively young, and now since they've got a season under their belts with this young team, it could either lead to more, as Greg head coach Greg Sparling likes to call it reloading, or it could lead to a better season in terms of record and going a little deeper in the conference tournament. So next year is really a toss-up. Overall, I still think the program's in pretty good shape. It's just they're kind of in a learning mode right now. So again, the Central Washington Wildcats lose to Alaska Anchorage 93-81. Now, so the next time you can expect to see Central Washington videos, you can it's either when one or two things happen. First one is if one of the spring quarter sports make the postseason, them being the baseball or the softball team. Softball team's got a better chance of making the postseason because baseball, the GNAC baseball conference is kind of set up. Is set up like the football conference in the sense that they only have 5 teams, so they have to depend on regional rankings in order to get into the playoffs. Whereas in the softball team has 6 conference opponents, and therefore the winner automatically goes to the postseason. But that being said, you can expect to see videos if one of those teams go to the postseason. If not, you can expect to see Central Washington videos when football season starts in late summer. So thanks very much for watching the coverage, and good luck to the Wildcats next year. Go Cats, and congrats on a small playoff run at the end of a hard-fought year. So thanks very much for watching, and we'll talk to you all later.